Okay, welcome to video number 2 of the vision of your business. Now, if you're from an independent auto repair shop, then you kind of have a leg up of knowing what you're going to do. If you're from a dealership, you might be thinking of specializing because that's kind of all you know, if you're anything like me. Okay, so it's going to depend on what you know. If you have certifications and schooling in a certain brand, then you're probably likely going to feel more comfortable specializing in a certain manufacturer product. I personally, I'm a specialist. I had all my certifications and spent my whole career at a dealership. So specializing was definitely, I already knew that's what I wanted to do. Now when we started out, we didn't quite have as much clientele as I wanted. So we did do some generalizing. In the beginning, we had lots of friends and family that had other cars. Now we specialize in BMWs. Not everyone in my family has a BMW, but they have plenty of other cars and no friends with other cars that we could work on. Now if you're specializing in Highline and you live in the desert and everything is really spread out, it's pretty likely there's not going to be too many BMWs. So you might want to think about generalizing. Now if you specialize in things like Toyota and Honda, like say Japanese stuff, which a lot of people in the desert, they probably do a lot of commuting, then that is probably a good thing for you. Now if you live in a nicer area where the income is middle to higher class, specializing in Highline is definitely going to be for you. Now whether you know for sure if you're going to specialize or generalize, there's a couple of benefits to either one, so let's go over those. Now the benefits of generalizing is you're definitely going to have more workflow because everything is out there. Now a big one later on is finding technicians. Now the pool of technicians that generalize is usually a lot bigger, so it's a lot easier to find guys. Now the cons of generalizing is you're going to have tons of competition. So there's tons of general repair shops all over the place. There's franchises, there's independent shops, there's all kinds of stuff where people are focusing on general repair. Now, the bad thing about that is you tend to get shoppers and a lot of cheap customers. These are people that really have never been at the dealership or don't plan on ever going at the dealership. They don't have that experience, something to compare to. That is not always the case. It depends on where you live, obviously. Now, auto repair shops that generalize definitely have a cliche issue. All the cliches you can think about, like the greasy mechanic, the lying mechanic. They even have commercials about mechanics that aren't very smart. They have dirty shops, things like that. It's all focused on people that generalize. So the cool thing about that is you can actually turn that into a positive. If you focus on the image of your brand and really step it up a little bit, you'll blow some people away. It doesn't take that much. All right, so you will have a higher workflow, lower profit because your labor rate is going to be lower. A lot of the generalized shops, they undercut each other. So that's when you get people calling in for a quote and they've already called 2 other shops and they say, can you beat this price? All right, now the pros of specializing is you have a higher labor rate. So you get more meat on the bone, more buck per repair order. Also prestige, anyone that specializes, they know they're usually the top of the industry in that brand, especially most guys that come from the dealership if they're specializing. There's usually less competition. Now here's a really cool thing that I did not expect going in, body shop accounts. So what we did is when we opened up, we said, hey, all our guys are factory trained from the dealership. All our equipment is factory equipment, tools, factory tools. We have the special tools, even though if you don't, but at least hopefully you have the software. We actually pay extra money to have the factory software. It really isn't that expensive once you get going compared to some of the other things. Now the cool thing about that is we get a lot of new cars, so we stay current. I'm from the dealership, so I'm used to working on new stuff all the time. So our body shop account folder is by far the biggest. So this one really helped us out. And sometimes if we're a little slow, the body shop is always coming because people are always wrecking their car. All right, now here's the cons. Now the cons of specializing is definitely the customer is gonna have high expectations for sure. Most of them have been at the dealer, they have dealership experience, so they expect a high image, high customer satisfaction, which is fine because it actually keeps you on your toes. Now one of the downsides, which we're always trying to manage, is we have a limited customer base. We actually have 1,500 customers in our folder right now. So you think we'll be busy every day, all day long, but no. It's a little less consistent. Sometimes when we're really busy, and when we're slow, sometimes we're slow. So that's always something that we're always trying to fine tune. Whether you're at an independent shop that specializes or from the dealership, that has always been something that's just part of the industry. You'll learn how to manage that as you go. Finding techs is a big one. Now our technicians, luckily we've known them from being at the dealership, and if they're tired of all that political drama, then they say, hey, come on over here, I'll take care of you. It's customer pay work all day long. Now to recap, when we first started out, we were specializing. That was part of our name. That was in our name saying we specialize in this brand, but we put it at the end. So people may assume that we do a little bit of this as well. And we are correct. A lot of people ask us, hey, can you guys work on this too, this and that? And we could kind of pick and choose some of that stuff. In the beginning, if we get a little slow week, we'll say, yeah, bring it in, we'll check it out, give me a couple days to figure things out. Be honest with them, tell them, hey, I don't specialize in that, but bring it in and I'll definitely save you some money compared to taking it to the dealership. Now, I understand everyone comes from different backgrounds. There's no exact formula as far as success when it comes to this. This just depends on what route you want to go and the image of your brand, because you can make any of this work. Because right now we're just creating the backbone and the platform which you're going to jump off of. We're going to get a lot more specific in different areas later. Again, I can't stress enough, make notes of everything that you do. Go back to this video, because as you go, you are gonna fine tune the image you have for your shop. Writing it down on paper gives you the visualization of how everything is gonna look. It gives you a bigger picture. Guys, thank you for watching this. Click on the next video. I'll see you then.